Welcome to the Rearview Mirror Podcast, looking back on all that we don't know and a few things that we do.
Can you sing?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Just judging from that, but I was curious. Maybe you got some in your.
No,
you have musical people in your family.
Well, I was in a singing group in high school and college and traveled a little bit. So
that makes sense.
There's something in there, but it sounds like I can't sing worth a flip.
But are we on?
We can start whenever we want to.
I mean, are we recording?
Yeah, we were recording as of now. Yep. So can't
mic
talk
check, mic check.
Can't talk about our wives anymore.
Hot mic.
Okay. Trying to think if I want to tell you more about music night or let's jump in. All right.
Well, tell me a little bit about the music night. Who were the writers? What was best? Okay, best song you heard.
Start over.
Best song you heard at Writers. Jeff went to the writers round in the writers round in the writers.
All right.
This goes on in Nashville all the time. Writers have these little round. They sing in the round, and they just alternate singing songs that they've written, and it's usually really enjoyable. Yeah. So you went. Best song you heard?
So, wow. I don't know. There were so many best sons.
All right, three.
We went to this. It was called Music Night Live, and they're doing it, like I said, in the Hutton Hotel, in their venue there called the Analog. And Steve, it was incredible. They had these three songwriters. One is a lady named Ashley. I'm drawing a total blank.
Monroe.
No.
McBride.
I don't think it's Ashley. Doesn't matter. I'll come back to her. Matthew Jenkins was one of them.
See, this is why I ask you for your best three.
I know. I'm just trying to get the names, so then they'll get me to the songs. Okay, you said best songs, not the best person.
Yeah. You'd be a terrible witness on a stand.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Please answer the question that was asked.
Okay. The question is, what were the three best songs I heard? I don't know. Probably the last round. They did this lightning round kind of thing at the end, but where they did their biggest hits. And this Matthew Jenkins was one of the writers on Buy Dirt, that Luke Bryan song. And his story behind it was just a cute story, fun story. That was fun. Brett James was one of the writers. Good God.
Yeah.
His voice, like, how are these people not artists is what I want to know. They're so incredible, you know. But he did a song called Whiskey and Wine or Wine and Whiskey. I can't remember which way it goes, but you bring the whiskey, I'll bring the wine. It's a duet, evidently. He just did it by himself. Oh, my gosh. His voice has got such a massive range on it. So it was just a blast to see that part of town that we haven't done those, I realized.
Well, he wrote that song you've been singing, I think. We went out last night. Kenny
That's
Chesney.
what I'm thinking about. Yeah. Oh, he's done a lot of Kenny Chesney.
I think he did go out with Kenny Chesney a couple of times. I've heard some stories. There's some connections somewhere. Is he a Baylor guy by chance?
There, maybe. I'm not sure. No, I think he was an Oklahoma guy.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. He went to, Chesney's a Tennessee guy, right?
Yeah, but there's some connection there. There's a friend group I have that knows him, I think. So anyway,
okay.
That's irrelevant. But
no, Brett James tells the story that his phone rang and it was it said unknown number, block number. He said, so you know what that means? That means it's somebody famous. So I answered it, and sure enough, it was Kenny Chesney. And he said, what are you doing day after tomorrow? And
see, that's not what block numbers mean on my phone.
Not me at all. They mean the bill collector.
So, somebody wants something or is selling something.
Exactly. I don't want that. But anyway, he said, what are you doing day after tomorrow? He said, oh, for you, I'm free. He said, good. He goes, well, let's go down to the islands. Let's write some songs. And so it's a great story because the day Kenny Chesney calls him evidently is Christmas Eve. So it's December 26th when they get on Kenny's jet and fly to some island where they get on a helicopter to fly to Kenny's house. And, you know, Brett James is hilarious. He goes, I mean, isn't that the way all y'all travel? I travel that way all the time. Only time, he said. But they went out that night. And there you go.
And there you go.
The rest is history, right?
Next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire, as they say.
Anyway, that was my highlight of last week. So what's your week been like? How you been?
I think it's been good. I'd have to just think through a little bit of a blur. No, it's been good. Yeah, nothing terribly exciting. Caroline's home. My daughter's home for the week. That's been fun.
Good.
We did go out last night, eat some Mexican food with some friends, so that was fun. Had a big time. And went to watch a little basketball yesterday, downtown Nashville, the SEC tournament.
Good for you.
Yeah, that was a pretty good time. Saw some friends, and so, yeah, it's been a good week.
Good. Well, I'm wearing my SEC representation here for the Vols. They
You are?
2:30 today. Today's the day we're recording, at least. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see how they go. They got Texas, who suddenly is on a hot streak, it seems like. So
Yeah, I think they played a double overtime game last night.
I'm hoping they're tired. And they played the day before, too, because they've come up from the bottom of the bracket. We'll see. Who knows? Basketball, man. Great game.
It is.
Yeah, you said Mexican food. I did Mexican food on Wednesday, and the last couple of weeks I've been tracking my calories because my doctor's kind of let me in on, okay, you got some numbers we need to get back under control. And I know I've got some weight I need to lose. I've only heard this message for like the last 26 years, but maybe I'm taking it seriously now. We'll see. Time will tell.
Does he just play a recording for you of the last time that he told you that?
I should. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, here, listen again. Yeah. Oh man, but I had some Mexican food on I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday for lunch with our good friend John Mace. It was so fun to be with him. Dadgummit, man, I can't. I have no regulation when I'm in a Mexican restaurant. It's just.
Does anybody?
Evidently not. You're not supposed to. Right?
I don't know that that's part of.
Yeah,
I don't know that that's part of it there.
They got me on this calorie number, and I hit it. I mean, that's before the main deal came. That was just the chips and queso.
Chips and queso, yeah.
It has got me thinking, though. I thought I'd love to talk with you today about this whole thing of health. I'm dressed this way today because this morning at 8 o'clock, I had an appointment with a personal trainer. I went in to interview, and he's interviewing me, and he basically fired me. No, young guy, cool guy. Really enjoyed getting to know him, and he's just saying, "Hey, here's what I could provide for you. Here's what I could do for you." And Steve, the thing is so interesting is I'm thinking, okay, am I going to pay $1,000 a month for somebody to stand over me to do the things that I already know how to do and I already know to do, but I don't do? And so I think maybe that's what I need to do for a season, and I'm about ready to pull that trigger. But it just made me think about as we get older, the role of health. And I know you've been so good at that in your life. I feel like, overall, compared to me, you've been a rock star. But, tell me about that world and how it's been for you historically, and even how it is in this season of life of trying to just make sure you're doing stuff to, keep our bodies moving, stay healthy as we go older.
Well, yeah, great question. I want to ask you about the trainer, though, real quick.
Oh, yeah, come back, yeah.
Will you, if you know how to do it and you know to do it, will the trainer make a difference? What's the thought process there?
So the 3 or 4 times I've done something like this, where there's been a class or where there's been I had this kind of quasi-trainer once at a gym. He would have like 4 or 5 people in the same hour, but would walk around, touch base with you some. This would be the first time I've ever done like a true individual for the whole hour, just me and the guy. Yeah. But every time those things, I'm more disciplined. I stay focused. I go in 2 or 3 times a week, but then even on the off days, there's something about the accountability for me.
Because you're paying for it, or because you don't want to do it alone, or because of
what do you think? Even the money. I think it really is. There's something about This is part of this is the reason. Going back to our previous conversations about the Enneagram, when
I think it's tied to that. Yeah.
Oh, I just think if you told me, "Hey Jeff, man, my doctor told me I need to lose some weight. I need to walk every day." We're in the same neighborhood. I'd go, "What time you want to go, man? I'll be there." Like for you, I'd show up every time.
Yeah.
For myself, I'll push me to the back burner way too often.
Because you don't want to, or because you've got other things you would rather do?
That's a great question. I think both. I think there's sometimes when it's just like this laziness, man. The narrative in my brain is, well, I've had a long day. I'm just going to, sit down and read or sit down and watch TV and I'm watch this game and I'll restore. Well, the reality is that never restores me. What restores me is when I get out and move and get, make my heart pump, my blood move, right?
Yeah.
So there is a part of it that's just a laziness, honestly, a lack of discipline. But then there's another part of it that sometimes I'll find myself, especially during the work week, I'll do pretty long days in here in the office, and then I'll go home and there'll be, some other important task or that I feel like, I need to do this, whether it's for the family or hanging out with grandbabies or whatever. But I think what hit me in the face talking with this guy this morning is going, I know to do this. I'm not doing it. What's my barrier?
Right. That's good. I think that, just having known you for a long time, I think that's a good plan.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
Because, you know how to do it. You were athletic back in the day, like a lot of us were. Your kids are athletes.
Yeah.
And Laura likes to play pickleball, move around, works out. Yeah, so it's good. I think that's good. I think your personality type, I think needing someone there with you.
That's me, isn't it?
100%.
I don't know why I resist doing that, and so just going, this would really be good for me. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm at that place.
Yeah, and I think it's the time in life we have to think about that. You know,
That's what my doctor says.
well, mine too. Is I got my atorvastatin refilled yesterday too. So you know, man, I enjoy. Well, let me say this. I want to be real clear about this because if you're not watching on video, I am tall and relatively thin. That's because of my family.
Yeah, genetics help, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people say, God, you're disciplined, you work out. And I do. There's some truth to that. But, man, I have incredibly fortuitous genetics.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear about that I'm not some super workout, super disciplined. For example, I kind of saved up for not money, but like eating wise yesterday and alcohol intake for the week.
Yeah.
Last night we went to eat Mexican with some friends and our kids' friends, and man, we had a great time. But I had a burrito as big as my forearm, literally, and a nice margarita, and we had a great time. And you know, so I love to, as you know, I love food. Like a good glass of wine and margarita. I like those kinds of things, and but I think I've learned things over the years that, I guess, first of all, I've learned that for my personality type, when I exercise, I feel better. I mean, that's my motivation for most things. As an Enneagram 4.
Yeah. What's it doing for me?
What's it doing for me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel, even this morning, I did a quick little thing before I came here because I knew if my blood was flowing, my brain would be, I'll just enjoy this more.
Yeah, it'll work better.
Yeah. And so I try to do that. And I've been fortunate to have some friends over the years that are trainers. My son worked out with a guy when he was playing football in high school that I really learned a ton from. And so I really try to be efficient when I do it and get the most bang for my buck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what does that look like for you? But you're doing it at home primarily, right?
Yeah, I've got a pretty good setup at my house. I'd say right now for this season of life, there's a couple of things that I do. I do mostly body weight exercises.
Wow. Okay.
I've got my goal is to have mobility and to have energy to do things and to maintain a certain level of strength. I think if I could put put it in that bucket, I don't want to hurt myself, but I'm not really worried about that. You can't really. You got to do what you got to do. I don't. I'm not trying to set any records for weightlifting or running or speed, but I try to do things that get my heart rate up. It's mostly body weight stuff. I have, bands that help me do those things. And so if I'm not feeling great one day, I use a bigger band and it takes a lot of my body weight when I'm trying to do a pull up or something, so something like that. And so I kind of monitor that and try to do something every day. And I rarely work out for more than 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Walk a lot. Try to walk some when I play golf. Even when you ride, you end up walking 4 or 5 miles when you play golf anyway. So that's good. But I do try to.
I usually get 9-10 miles when
you can. You certainly can.
Because chasing balls over 2 or 3
fairways
just makes it hard.
Yeah, and then having to run back to get out of the way of everybody else. Right.
Gosh, speaking of, I was with a group of guys this fall. We were in Gatlinburg area. They did this big Airbnb and got to hang out with those guys for the weekend. They love to golf. So I went with them one day. I'm terrible. I'm never out there anymore. I had so much fun just being back out there. Beautiful day. But it was some golf course in the Smokies that literally was straight up and straight down. So for a guy who's chasing balls all day like I am, I don't know how many steps I got, but all I know is I felt like I was mountain climbing sometimes when I go chasing.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot of steps. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So that's, I just kind of, I try to keep it simple. I change it a lot. I've probably accumulated, 8 or 10 different little simple workouts. And,
so what's your 1 or 2 favorite workouts that you do? Like if you are like in the morning, this morning, you're in a hurry, but it gets your blood flowing, as you said, but it also feels like, man, that's something I really enjoy doing.
There's a couple little things I've learned from my trainer buddies.
Okay.
And one of them I think is more of a principle thing. And this is the guy that Will worked out with years ago. And he had been he was a Division I trainer for football and basketball and track for 2 or 3 different universities. Young guy, really smart. And he kind of changed the way I think about things. He said, every exercise is a part of a continuum. So if you're let's say you're having back problems and it's muscular and you want to work your lower back. Well, on a continuum, the 10 may be some sort of Olympic lift, a clean and jerk or something. Yeah. A 1 may be just standing against the wall with good posture and, getting into the position where your back, your muscles are kind of learning to work the right way.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gives you freedom to go, man, I don't feel great today. I'm not going to push this. Wow. I'm just going to do.
I'm a 2 today. I'm not a 6.
Yeah, right. I feel like a 2 today, so I'm just going to kind of.
That's so smart. Yeah.
I'm gonna go at it as a 2. Probably my go-to, like this morning, I did. I don't want to sound like that guy that's always, Mr. Workout, but I did I love and hate a burpee.
Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah.
They kill you.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do many. And so I just did this, a little 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for 4 minutes.
Wow.
Just a quick little hit because I'm going to play golf later. Yeah. And so that's a go-to. A friend of mine here in town showed me how to use kettlebells years ago. So I got some stuff I do with that. That's kind of for time, and that keeps my heart rate up. And so that's kind of my 4-time exercise. And then I just try to do a lot of assisted pull-ups, push-ups, body weight squats, that kind of stuff.
Again,
just trying to maintain strength and be mobile and not grunt every time I move. Oh, that's getting harder.
Yeah. I think, a couple of years ago, I went and I joined a gym and I was there for 8 months and darn it, they closed. But I was really loving what I was doing. And the guy that was kind of writing my workouts, he had 3 words for me: mobility, stability, flexibility.
100%.
Oh my gosh. One of the things he had me do the very first day I came in was I did just a single leg it's a balance thing, right? Stand on one leg, bring your knee up, 90 degrees to the floor, parallel to the floor, your thigh. And just stand there. Well, I think I lasted like 6 seconds, nothing. And by the end, after probably just a month and a half, 2 months, I'm doing 2 minutes, not holding on to anything and each foot. And it's funny, the confidence build that was, not to mention when I went in there, we were just starting to have grandbabies and that were getting around. And I'd be like, I'd get down the floor with them. And Steve, it was embarrassing. I'd literally almost have to, not literally, but pretty close to crawl over to the couch to help to have an assist to stand back up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting older, but I'm not that old, am I? And after I did like a couple, 3 months with these guys, I found myself, I was squatting down, like now if there's something on the low shelf in the kitchen, I'll grab the island to hold myself and lean down and try to pull something out. But man, I would just squat down like I used to do.
Yeah.
And so I realized, it is so true in that world that, you don't use it, you lose whatever you have, not just in muscle. I don't know if I care about that ultimately, but in the whole flexibility and mobility. And I think as I get older, that's what I really want. And I know it comes with strength. I have strength to get up out of a chair, but I think that's an area as I look back in the rearview mirror, going, man, I have not stewarded my body well, or I've done it off and on in seasons, and I've never been consistent. And I just think in this run, I don't know, the last few weeks, I think just talking to the doctor, and it's got me in that place of going, okay, I got to do something differently. And
it's never too late to start.
I'm still trying to figure that all out, but I'm actually excited to try to stay on this path I've been on for the last 2 weeks, except for Mexican food one day that was not good for me.
Yeah. Well, I think at this age too, I'm not going to go on some crazy diet, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to eat kale all week. Yeah. I'm just not wired that way. So,
But even back to the Enneagram, my personality wiring, I'm so extreme, so I have to guard that because the extreme I've lived at for so long is people talk about having a sweet or a salty or savory kind of palate. Evidently I have 2 tongues in there because I got both.
Yeah.
So, I will literally, on a bad day, I'll come home and, have a pretty healthy dinner. Laura's great about good dinners. And then, I'll have a handful of chocolate chips and I'll be like, man, I need something salty. And, sweet thins work, and then more chocolate. And I'll get caught in that cycle. And suddenly, I've probably pounded 1,000 calories of just crap. Stuff that's doing nothing good for me.
Right.
That's the only place I'm really trying to focus on watching is going, okay, that's got to stop. And, when I order, just be more attuned. But it's just, there's nothing I feel like I don't know. That sounds so arrogant. That's not true. I know I know good foundations. Right.
You know
exactly.
enough.
Thank you. But it's the execution for me. So
what's the fix for the nighttime stuff you just described?
I have two solutions. One, getting rid of some of the crap that's there. I think I have to change my environment.
That's good.
It's just, if it's there, it's too convenient. I think the second thing is, part of what I'm identifying is that if I'm watching a game at night or even a movie, there's something in my brain that says, oh, you should have something in your hand that you're nibbling on while you're watching the game.
Yeah.
And there's a reason there's concession stands in stadiums,
right?
And so I carry that home. So my other hack that works for me when I'll do it is I'll go upstairs to our bonus room and watch the game. And I won't, the kitchen's not 3 steps away.
Right.
And I'll go, I'm not walking down. I think walking downstairs stops me. Like, wait, don't go downstairs. You're going to the kitchen. You don't need anything from the kitchen.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Where if I'm in the family room, kind of like your house is laid out, the kitchen's just, 4 steps and so
it's right there.
Those are 2 things. I mean, I'm open to other thoughts if you have thoughts.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I just, again, I think one of the things I've learned over the years about, and again, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, but anecdotally, you learn things that work for you and don't work for you. I don't eat a big breakfast. I like the intermittent fasting idea a few times a year for 2 or 3 months at a time. Yeah. It helps me. I feel better. My brain functions better. I end up controlling my weight better. And I try to not eat. I think for me, a big key is not eat a big lunch. Or I can eat a big lunch, but I need to save my junk for the night, for the dinner meal. Like, Mexican at lunch is a lot for me.
Yeah. It'll knock me out.
Burger and fries, that's a no-go for me at lunch, and just try to monitor that kind of stuff. So I'm eating a little bit, chicken or vegetables or something, or, Jen made some great chicken salad the other day, a little bit of that for lunch. And then just know if I'm going to have a big night out like last night, just kind of save up a little bit.
Yeah.
Try to cut it off at a certain point. But, I think it's important when you eat certain things and when you don't.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. My doctor had me a few months ago go to do the intermittent fast, and, not eat until lunchtime. Yeah. And
what'd you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I've done it for probably 3 months now, but I think what I'm realizing is around 10:30 in the morning, I can feel myself being so fatigued, so tired. Yeah. Yeah. So I was talking to her just last week again, and I think I'm gonna reintroduce just a heavier protein breakfast. And small. I mean, not crazy big. Because my problem when I eat breakfast is I'm a Southern boy. I want to have biscuits and gravy. I'm going to have a chicken biscuit. I'm going to have pancakes, all the wrong carb stuff that just blows me up. Well, I'm still tired when I do that.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
The protein I think would be better for me. So I don't know. I didn't hate it. I'm not sure I'm going to keep doing it. We'll see.
Well, and I would ask her too, because I've read different things about intermittent fasting, and I think the minimum is probably 12 hours, as the window. But then, if you can go 16.
16, right.
But man, if I get to, some days, like today, I know I've got a lot of stuff to do today. And so I had gotten to like 12, and I had a little snack this morning.
Yep.
So 10:30 or 11 is about the time, normally I'll start back eating again.
Yeah.
So
that works for you generally. Sounds like
I think in the range. I'm not gonna be militaristic about it. Yeah, Yeah. But I'll try to make it in that range. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. If you were talking to somebody who's in their late 30s, early 40s, and you're in a season of life where you're scrambling, your job you're trying to build, you probably got wife, kids at home, or husband, kids at home, and life feels so overwhelmingly chaotic. And it seems like one of the first things that slides off a lot of our tables is exercise, and then anything kind of in that self-care space, honestly, exercise, and then the eating better. Like if you were talking to a young guy that you built into when you mentor, how do you talk to them about this in a way to try to encourage them?
And I think this generation's better at it. I think they think about it more than we did. I grew up like you. I ate the Southern foods, and I think I'm slowly. the guy at Publix that doles out the fried chicken knows me by name. So, man, I would eat that every day.
And that's in the healthy food category,
It
right?
certainly is. Golly, it's just unbelievable. But generally speaking, I don't enjoy that kind of stuff as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't enjoy it because I just feel so bad when I eat it.
Yeah. Yep.
Not that I don't enjoy it, but it just the bad outweighs the good, I guess, in my mind. But I think this generation's better at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, a couple things. One is what you just said earlier. I think just know yourself.
Yeah.
Know your personality type. There are some people that I've got some buddies, they love going to the gym because they love the exercise. They love the energy. They love the interaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I, for some reason, I go to kind of Enneagram 1 where I want to be super efficient. So I've got it set up in my garage.
Interesting.
I get dressed, I walk out, I get it done, I'm done. I don't want all the conversation that goes on at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other people do.
Right.
And so figure out what you like. I mean, my wife likes to exercise with somebody.
Yep.
And likes to walk with somebody. It can't play tennis by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I think knowing, not beating your head against the wall about how you're not wired is important. Like you with the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And then I think just take advantage of your kids' energy when they're young.
Yeah.
Even
Boy,
if it's
isn't
not
that true?
sports, just, man, regular stuff on the weekends, take them to the park. Run around with them. Walk around. Just do as much outside
Mm-hmm.
with your kids as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And boys and girls, they love to throw a ball, shoot a basketball, learn how to throw a football. I mean, we've spent hours and hours doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's good for their hand-eye. It's good for their athleticism and brain. And it's good for you, and so just take advantage of what's already there.
Yeah.
It's kind of built in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think the same thing, especially for the guys, just like this is important in the chaos of that world when your kids are younger to get away with your wife. I think just if you can find something that she likes to do exercise wise.
Yeah.
So, years ago, Jen started playing tennis. She got good really quickly. I played a little bit in high school, so I could hit, and we didn't, until various injuries have kept us from doing it as much these days. But, there were a lot of years on Saturdays, that's what we would do. We'd go hit tennis balls, and it was just a great workout. We wouldn't play games or keep score.
Mm-hmm. Just volley.
Just hit it.
Bam.
Yeah. And you get a ton, for an hour, and you just sweat and move. But we like doing that together. And so she loves pickleball. I'm going to have to learn how to play pickleball because that's inevitable. So
Keep the marriage together.
Right. That's going to be good. That's good. That's a good workout. And, so I think just trying to find something that your spouse enjoys doing, and
That's
wives,
so
if you don't want to do it, I just encourage you. It's important, and because I do have some friends that the husband's more eager to do that than the wife.
Yeah.
And they just, it's one of those things you just gotta. You're not going to want to be our age and having not moved.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
There's enough. Deterioration that occurs anyway.
Naturally.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, it's fun for me. And I think if you and I were sitting at Panera today, I think there's just part of me I'm realizing I'm holding back saying something because I'm very aware we're on a podcast right now.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, what the hell? I need to say this. I think if we were at Panera, I'd probably say to you, okay, so my false starts I've had in this area.
Sure.
And I really feel like that this is a season that, man, I listen, I didn't want to say it. But, man, this is a season where I want to let you know as my friend and who I see all the time that I want to get serious about this. And I think the way you'll know if I've gotten serious about it is there's probably two measurables for me. One, next time you're at my house or I'm at your house and we're cooking, drop something on the floor and ask me to pick it up. And if it's all the way up and down, I'm not taking it seriously.
If I can time that event, then it's probably not going well.
That's sadly the truth,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
But I think, I can get that back, and that's going to be one of my commitments to myself. I think the second thing is I'm just going to lose weight. I've got to lose some weight. I think so much of them, I've had some of the numbers and, that we're always tracking as we get older, blood sugars and cholesterol and that stuff. And some of it's genetic. I get that on the cholesterol side, and I'm grateful for little meds that have helped me on that.
Yeah, sure.
But man, a lot of the reasons I've had some elevated numbers, especially when my blood pressure used to be so high, is I've been sedentary almost, And so I think if I lost 20 pounds right now, I think it would be such a massive game changer. So that's my goal over the next 6 months. I just said that out loud.
You did, but I would add this to it. You haven't always had false starts. I think that's kind of a narrative you have in your head.
Yeah.
But you've had some successes.
Yeah.
Where you've lost a ton of weight and exercised and
No, it's good to say. I
think that's don't we all do that? I mean,
in some area. Maybe it's not weight loss, but in some area.
Yeah. I mean, I like
healthy things.
Look, so I'll make an admission. I love food and beverage.
Mm-hmm.
And, most nights if you put a really good meal in front of me with a good glass of wine, I'm probably a taker. And that doesn't need to be an every night occurrence for me.
Right.
So I'm mindful of that. I'm trying to track that a little better, and I don't need to have Mexican food and margaritas every night.
Right. Exactly.
And there's a world in which I would.
Yeah. It's called heaven, but it doesn't impact you negatively.
Sitting there last night when they brought it out, I thought, damn,
I am in heaven.
Man, this is good. But yeah, so I think because that too. I think the heaviness of food, a lot of sugar, alcohol, which has sugar. I mean, I think that affects brain function as you get older. I think there's plenty of data on that. Again, not an expert. I'm parroting things I've read and heard. So, but yeah, that's kind of I'm with you. A different journey, but it's you still got to be mindful of what your weaknesses are and where you go.
I appreciate the grace you extend when you say that. I think talking with this personal trainer this morning, great young guy. He's in great shape. Obviously, he's a trainer, but he said, I'm really structured. I'm really disciplined. This is easy for me to do. I work here, but I live several miles away, so I have another home gym that I'll work out on days I'm not working. So you just realize this guy. It's just his routine. But he was super cool. He goes, but Jeff, there's a couple areas in my life where I'm up and down all the time, and he mentioned a couple. He talked about, financially sometimes, man, I can battle. And then my spiritual life, it's not where I want it to be. And I just thought, it's true. We all have those things. Battles. It's that quote that I was talking with one of my friends about recently. Let me see if I can paraphrase it right. It says something like this. It says, every person has a battle they're fighting that you know nothing about. So be kind always. And isn't that true? I think today, I think between your Mexican food and between my appointment this morning, that's what led us to talk about this. But I think the principles of this being intentional, being mindful, being aware, finding a plan that works for you. Gosh, it's certainly true in weight loss or health and fitness, but it's true really in all of life at some level, isn't it? And once again, the Bible's kind of right when it talks about being moderate in all things.
Man, it's so true.
And I've not been in some places.
Well, I've not been either. And it's easy, like your friend this morning, I think because of the way, again, because of my genetics, people think that I am.
Right.
People think that I'm uber disciplined. And I can be disciplined in some areas, but really, honestly, it's just because of the genetics and the foods I like and don't like.
Yeah.
I don't have a sweet tooth.
I know.
That's incredibly advantageous.
Right. Oh, huge.
So, but I do have a propensity towards other things. Yeah. So we've all got stuff we're trying to be moderate in, but I think it's just I think the health journey is a worthwhile journey because I think it bleeds over into so many other areas.
Yeah. I think I love that you say that. And I think that's part of what I want this season to be about is just, I don't know how many more years I get, but man, and there'll come a year when I'm sure when, I don't know, maybe I need a cane, maybe I need a walker, maybe in a wheelchair. Stuff happens that could be out of my control, but there's a lot of stuff that happens that could have been in my control. And so I do want to steward well. And I guess I'm thinking about, gosh, so many men and men even younger than me who, my story when I share it is so familiar where guys go, gosh, I know I was going to start that and I don't. And I don't know if you are listening today, I just say, join me. I'm going to try my best to be healthier consistently going forward. I'm not going to be a fanatic. I never will be, but golly, I certainly think there's some habits that I can reintroduce. I appreciate your grace on that a minute ago. Some disciplines that I can reclaim. And man, if that's an area that hits you in your listening day and you're going, I want to tell somebody I'm in and I want to start doing something, shoot us a note or, go and DM me on one of our socials. I mean, we'd love to hear from you that there's other people out there saying, hey, fighting the same battle, Jeff, because we'd love to encourage you to get on it with us. Anyway, I didn't mean to do that. I think that's that community part of me though, man. I want to know other people are doing it too.
Yeah. Where do you foresee, so you start this journey today, where do you foresee the pitfalls?
For me?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think in the big category, it will be in, I can justify events as reasons to not stay eating clean, and again, I'm going to have fun at a birthday party. I want to enjoy things, but I can turn, oh my gosh, this is the Ides of March. And I think Julius Caesar talked about that. Well, tomorrow will be, I better enjoy, not really, but I'll make up a reason to eat poorly, or I'll make up an excuse for, but I need to do this for Laura, and Laura would say, whatever is on your to-do list for me, please stop it until you take care of yourself.
Right.
So I think, again, there's that talk in me that's that people-pleasing, that 3-2 combination in me that just goes, I got to take care of everybody else in the world. And I think that'll be my biggest pitfall, instead of going, I need to be selfish for Jeff right now,
Is there a part of you, and I don't know the answer to this, so this is not a leading question. This is a legitimate question. Is there a part of you that's afraid to embark on this, like the personal trainer strength training part of it?
Yeah. I think the two fears, and I think they both are unfounded, but I thought about this driving here this morning after meeting with a guy. One is financial. Well, the reality is I can afford this, but I go, I shouldn't afford this. I shouldn't spend this money. I need to, what if we want to do this trip, or what if we need to do this, or we're thinking about redoing the kitchen again. It's like all that stuff comes up and I'm going, Jeff, this is okay. You can do this, Yeah. And I think maybe, I think that'll probably be the big one. I'll talk myself out of it financially, but maybe I just need to sign the paperwork this afternoon and be done with it.
Man, I think so.
Lock
again,
and load,
I know we said this, but man, looking back, I just think it's so important to figure out how you're wired and not go against that.
Yeah.
In the work world, in your marriage, if you can figure that out a little bit, it just makes the road a little bit easier.
I agree.
And because you do hear that a lot, especially with health stuff. Hey, I should be doing this. I should start this, and different. The way I exercise is not for everybody, and the way other people exercise, I'm fascinated by the CrossFit stuff, just because of the athleticism. I can't do that anymore.
Right.
I never really. I did some of it, but very little. I mean, I can't.
Those guys are crazy. Yeah,
I'll get hurt. I'll have a debilitating injury at my age that and I hate that. Yeah, but there are things I can do, and
I think what you said reminds me, when I'll talk to people in here, especially if I'm doing premarital counseling, couples will always want to talk about money. How do we handle money together? And one of my really simple rules of advice I'll say is, look, what if during your first year of marriage, you adopted and followed somebody's plan to the T? I don't care who, just a book you read, Dave Ramsey, he's here in town, Susie Orman, but just what if you followed somebody's plan and just say, we're going to live this way and really track our money. We're going to really be intentional about how we spend our money. We're going to live within a budget just for year one, just to understand how do we come together to figure out how we're going to do it, but just follow some plan.
Yeah.
And because every plan doesn't work for everybody the same way.
Right.
And that's true in this area too, isn't it? It's
that'd be a great piece of advice in this area.
Yeah. Just like, I got to find some plan, because I will get paralyzed. I love info. I'll get paralyzed reading about, but people say you should eat this kind of carbs or these kind of fats or this much fat. And then I'll be like, at some point I got to go, stop, just follow some program. In 2 months, if it's not working, great. Now I can shift a program a little bit,
Right.
And I'm not talking about some major diet. I'm thinking, I get confused on what's really healthy with all the, where do I really buy eggs, and what kind of eggs do I really buy?
Oh, yeah. I never thought of that. Yeah.
It's like, what is an organic egg? Last time I checked, they all came from chickens. But how are those chickens raised? And I can just get paralyzed overthinking it.
We can go down a rabbit hole with those things.
And I think I just need to commit and go.
At some point, I think you have to trust that God's made our immune system incredibly efficiently.
Unbelievably.
And so I do think it's in on that topic. I guess in my opinion, you do some research and then you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
In general, what I've found and what my trainer guys would say, the consistent message I've heard from those 3 or 4 guys I've known over the years, protein's like love in the Bible. Covers a multitude of sins. Okay. So we all know, if I ask you to list the lean proteins, we all know them. We read about them all the time,
right.
Salmon, lean beef, turkey, chicken,
Yeah.
And so just be smart about that. Get some vegetables in and, eat some cheese dip once in a while.
Yeah.
And get some salsa and chips. And,
but it doesn't need to be 4 days.
It's Friday night. I'm probably going to have pizza tonight.
Yep.
Pretty good chance.
Yep.
So that tells me I need to, I might walk my round of golf this afternoon.
Yep.
Because that's better. Or if my back's hurting, I might walk 9 and ride 9. But I'll do some things so that I can, enjoy that pizza tonight. But
give me that line again about protein and love and Bible.
Gosh, I don't know if I stole that from somebody. It's like love in the Bible. It covers a multitude of sins. I mean,
it's
it's
a great line.
If you're looking at your plate and it's all carbs and sugar, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
For me too, as I'm sitting there,
That's great. I heard that these are the clever, fun ones. I just heard this one a couple weeks ago, and I bet this has been around forever. Motion is lotion. They were talking about your joints as you get older and just the need just to move. And I sit in this chair over here so many hours a day, and I'm supposed to do 50-minute sessions, but I'll let them stretch to 56, 57, 58 because we're in the moment, and but what that does is that puts me with a 2-minute transition time, so run to the restroom, I'm back, and I go. So if I'm not careful, I will sit for 5 hours in a row with a 2-minute break between each hour. But when I'm on my game and I stop at 10 minutes till the hour, I've got these 3 or 4 little stretches that I'll do in here. And even just those little stretches, that little bit of movement,
it makes all the difference.
It's a game changer.
One of the interesting things I learned, and I can nerd out in this area a little bit. I love to learn about that.
That's all I wanted to talk with you.
And so, you may get a lot of comments like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And that may be true.
But we're not professionals is the good news.
No, I'm not. I'm not. And so when my son played a couple sports, 3 sports in high school, but he played football for all 4 years. And, man, it's just a brutal, that is a taxing game on your body. And Will's a big kid. He's 6'4", and he played receiver. So he took a lot of hits. And on Saturdays, we would go to this guy I mentioned earlier that had been a trainer, and he would, in his words, he would put him back together. I thought this is going to be interesting to see what this looks like. But it was mobility, balance.
Wow.
To your motion is lotion. I mean, it was not strength training. It was recovery, but it was active recovery.
Yes.
And the exercises he did and the things he had Will doing were just, man, they were fascinating. And I have some of his notes and stuff I still do today, every day. Just
That's
these
amazing.
mobility things that, gosh, you make your hips and back feel better. But just watching him take, and there were other football players, high school football players in there too that day.
Yep.
That would come in and he would do the same thing with them, just kind of recharge their body. So it doesn't all, I guess the point is there is a time to recover and to give your body some grace and work out, feel things that figure out things that work.
But I love that
you.
phrase you just used, active recovery.
Oh man.
It's really easy for me for my recovery is, where's I don't want a lazy boy, but that mentality, right?
Yeah.
And to go, no, what does active recovery look like? And again, this, 2 of my boys were distance runners. I know what recovery looks like, and I know the importance, but their recovery was never, hey, take a day and just go sit on the couch and eat, chips. It's like, okay, today's going to be a slow run. Today's going to be, so.
Or if you want to eat chips and watch the Tennessee game, hey, I'm going to do something before that, or after that, I'm going to go walk the neighborhood with somebody. Or I've started, work from home, and there are certain calls I can be on or certain people I can call that I know well enough that I can walk outside while I'm on the phone. So if I know I'm going to be on for 30 or 45 minutes, even when I was at an office, I would walk around the office building outside a lot.
That's great. That's great.
I'm a little bit ADHD in that way. Like I can't sit still for a long period of time. So
need to move.
I like, you can figure something out.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate, I didn't know this we were going to go today, but I appreciate you talking about it, and thanks for your grace you extended, and thanks for hearing me. I know speaking, this will be a little bit of accountability for me. So enjoyed this conversation, as do all of them with you, man.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
All right. We'll talk again soon.
Yep.
All right,
See you.
Out.